Good evening and welcome to the Job Search Solution, the radio program where we talk about looking for a job, changing jobs, changing careers, hiring. And as always, we begin with a prayer. Dear God, grant us thy peace and thy mercy, thy will be done. As we do every Wednesday evening, Rich Levinsky is going to be with us here in just a few minutes, talking about consulting in the marketplace today. He always has some very interesting discussions and topics and covers them very well because he knows his market and knows what he's doing. I'd like to spend just a few minutes today going over some statistics that I've found recently regarding the marketplace in Texas. And of course, everybody who has any idea what's going on knows that this isn't quite what it was last year. Last year was an aberration, one that in the 49 years that I've been doing this, we have never seen a market that was so good. And we've eased our foot off the pedal a little bit, but we're still in good shape, in darn good shape. Market is more, I guess you would call normal. Than it has been over the past number of years. I've mentioned this before, but I've seen 8 recessions, and most of them were pretty darn tough. We're going into a more challenging time, but I don't think it's going to be as rough as what a lot of people might say. Last year, 230,000 people moved to the state of Texas, mostly from, interestingly enough, New York, Illinois, New Jersey, and California. Last year, there were 226,000 jobs created just in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. There are still, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, 2 jobs for every 1 person that is actively looking for a job. So it's not quite as robust as it was last year, but that's still pretty darn good. 62 corporations moved to Texas last year of the Fortune 1000. 27 of them moved to North Texas. 25 of them, interestingly enough, were from California, and you could imagine why. Now, there are 177,000 businesses in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. That's gigantic. When I got in this business in 1973, it wasn't even half of that. I mean, it was 1/4 of that. So there are lots of businesses moving here, and we are more diverse than we have ever been. In every recession up until this one, if we are indeed going through one, it has been tied to the oil and gas business and the price of a barrel of oil. And the last recession was tied to that. But this recession, what we went through, especially right after the pandemic, was not tied to oil and gas. Dallas-Fort Worth is a whole lot more diversified than it has ever been. And although the price of oil and gas does affect us, it doesn't affect us anywhere near the way it affects Houston. The Bureau of Labor Statistics says that in this coming year, we're going to create 380,000 jobs in North Texas. And it's going to grow beyond where we're at now. And so with that kind of growth, there's going to be a lot of hiring. Now, we read in the papers that a lot of the big tech firms, the Microsofts and the Googles and all of that, are going through a lot of layoffs, but not necessarily here in Texas, anywhere near as much as they are on especially the West Coast. But those kind of firms overhire anyhow when they can. and everybody knows that. So if you go to work for one of those firms, as one candidate from Microsoft told me yesterday, he knew when he went to work there that they were going to be subject to um, layoffs when things got really tight. So what that does is it gives you encouragement that the job market is still there. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be easy. It's still going to be hard. And there are going to be narrow aspects of the market that are going to be a lot harder than most. That's just the way it has always been. And it's our ability to survive that and get through that that ends up making a difference. The reports I read say that this is going to continue this way until maybe the fourth quarter or the first quarter of next year, where it's not so bad, but it isn't anywhere near the level that it was last year. And that's fair enough. Look, economy's going to go up and down. They do. And we learn to survive just about every recession if you plan well and realize that it's not going to be quite as easy to find a job as you thought it was or that it was year before. And I had a candidate yesterday tell me that he just decided to up and quit because he thought the market was so good. I wouldn't go that far. It's good, but and employers are being more careful because they are a bit afraid, doubt, uncertainty, and fear about what's going to happen over the rest of the year. So I'm encouraged, but never related. I'm never related one way or the other. Never too high, never too low. Realize that things are just the way they are. And the only thing I can control is how I deal with it and my attitude. All right, we're going to take a short break. Stay tuned. This is Tony Bashara with the Job Search Solution.